before you leave every day, here's what I would recommend you do. I do this on a weekly basis, but at a minimum, do this on a daily, before you leave. Every salesperson in this room, make sure the next day you know exactly what your day is, and make sure prospecting is part of that every day, right? It's like brushing your teeth, do it every single day. Every single day, don't take a day off, don't think about it tomorrow, don't prepare to prospect. I don't care if it's imperfect, you'll get better, but start prospecting before you leave every day. Another way of wasting time is they get online, they read articles, checking emails, social media, blabbing at the water cooler. You don't have time for that kind of stuff. You don't have time to go on Facebook and start trolling. You don't have that kind of time, especially when your customers are awake. You want to do that at 10 o'clock at night? Go ahead. I guess I wouldn't even do it at 10 o'clock at night. If you're behind on your quota, you ought to be working on your sales process. Don't waste time on that. Not grouping activities or appointments in logical chunks. So one of the things that when I was in a sales role, every day I had my prospects I was going to call on. And I would start at the top, and I would call, all the way through till about lunch. And I would talk to Ted, and I'd say, okay, Ted, we're going to book that appointment on Tuesday at this time. Great. All right, now, I wouldn't stop, and at the time, I didn't have shock and awe. I didn't have any of this. There was no social media where I could connect with them on LinkedIn or send an email or there was none of that, right? So I would write a note down what I needed to do, and I didn't stop and send Ted an email and send him a letter, then go get a drink of water, and then come back and make my next phone call. And a couple phone calls. Then I get the next prospect. I get Chuck on the phone, and Chuck says, no, call me back in 6 months. I didn't stop and then go, okay, let me look up Chuck's account in the CRM, and let me schedule a 6-month call, and let me go to his website, and I didn't do any of that. I made a note, and I called the next person. And then from lunchtime on the rest of that day, that's when I would sit and do all the activities to get that stuff done. But I got my calls in every single day. Prospect. Don't stop. Don't put the phone down. I literally, the way we would teach our salespeople, because I ran a telemarketing department, you never ever, so this is how old school, right? Never ever hang up the call. You never ever, that phone never touched the receiver. You touched it with your finger, and you dialed the next one. You touched it with the receiver, you dial with the next one. You never, ever put the phone down, right? That's chunking activities. Because when you stop and you get this and you do all this, and let me finish this up, and let me document this, and let me do this, and then you get distracted, and then the phone rings, and then you're it's 2 hours, and your whole flow has been interrupted, right? So if you're going to do your sales activities, do them first thing in the morning, prospecting, get it done, uninterrupted, orange cone time, no phone calls, no checking email, get it done. Don't stop, right? Take a break when you're done, and then you go back and you do all the things that you're supposed to do, and you chunk that, because then it's all the if you're going to send emails, well, here's the 5 people I need to send emails to. I need to send to John so I can cut and paste, send this to Chuck. I said cut and paste, send this to Ted. Do you see what I mean? Now I'm being productive because I'm chunking. Yes.
So you talked about doing this first thing in the morning, and I'm just wondering if you have any insight into, is there a particular time window when it's best to try and reach DMs?
Here's what I would tell you. Stop trying to play the market. Do you know how to time the market? You know how investors always say, if you try and time the market, you lose? Salespeople, yes, there are problems. What I had found, for me personally, I found Fridays to be my best prospecting days. I just got people on the phone, they were in better moods, you name it. And it used to piss me off because the company I worked for always had their sales meetings on Friday morning. And I was telling them, I'm like, why are you doing this? And by the way, I'm going to tell the rest of you, don't do friggin' sales meetings on Friday morning, have a Monday morning, because Monday morning is one of the hardest, can be tough to get, because everybody's getting in, especially when we're prospecting you guys, you get in your office on Monday, and that's when all your clients call with problems, right? So what's that? Yeah, right, yeah, exactly, because Monday's holy shit, what happened over the weekend, right? Everybody saves it up. So, that's why, we have our sales meeting first thing Monday morning, right? It's 90 minutes, That's when it's all our meetings are like on Mondays. That way they get the rest of the week to call and prospect. But I would tell you this, it's more important that you just do it every day versus trying to time it. Because if you say, well, I'm going to do it all on Friday, if Friday comes and you're out sick, now your whole day, now you didn't get all your calls. And now the 100 calls you were supposed to make, now you're behind by 200, you're never going to catch up. You see what I mean? So I would just, try different times for sure, but don't use, as long as you understand, don't use that as an excuse to, salespeople, like do it every day.